Hey Rob,
So ready here.
Hey, how are you, Carmelo?
how are you?
I'm good.
Sorry everybody. Had some internet issues, but we're all good here now. Should I get going or give it a couple minutes? Do you see
Let's
everybody in here?
let's start it going.
Okay, so I spoke to Adona briefly. So I really just wanted to open it up first because I know what I'm hearing is that some people are not having a good experience with the real-time tour lead. So I just want to make sure that we are using the best practices because I have, just so you guys know, transparency, I have 25 teams in Jersey, right? So if the rest of them are having no issues with it, I just want to see what is the issue or concerns or what kind of response you guys are getting. Because in Jersey, I know certain parts are probably different than others. I know my partners in Bergen County and having success because it's a higher price point, right? So the individual is a little more committed, where in other price points or other areas you might have a different experience.
So, I saw David Hayes. Are you having any issues? I know last time you had a couple of, I think, concerns.
Is he in here?
Trudy?
Trudy's, I see Trudy.
Rob, if I may, this is Janet. I did have just one experience. I've not really been having challenges, but I wanted to share this one, if I may.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I accepted a real tour showing, and it gave me 3 times, Carmel. One of the times was like 12:30, and that's the time that I had available.
Okay.
And when I went back in, I got a response back that there were notes in the system saying that we have limited showings in some areas. And so this particular showing was only showing from, I believe, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Mhm.
So those options that were provided, were just not. And so I couldn't accommodate, and I'm trying to, I guess, flip it back because it was like the night before. It may have been like 9 o'clock. I needed something in the morning. So I thought the best option was to just give it back so that they can ring again and let somebody on the team that could do an 11 or 8 to 11 slot. But so my question, I guess, is with that system, are they reading any of the notes? Because especially in
It's look at it this way, right? The consumer doesn't get all that information. The consumer, it's up to the listing agent or the homeowner, whoever the seller is, what they're putting on showing time as available times to tour the property. That's what the consumer sees. Right.
Right.
So
So
if
they
those time
can't see
slots,
agent notes, obviously.
no, so if those time slots are left open by the listing agent, yeah, that's the consumer experience is like, hey, here's the available times. So think of this app the same as Open Table. When you go to reserve a table at a restaurant, you can only pick the times that the restaurant has open, right? The other ones you can't. So the consumer is assuming that 12 or 12:30, whatever that time was open. They selected 3 times. Usually the
Correct.
first time is the one that you should, if you can make that time, they probably usually put them in order of preference.
Yes.
But if, they don't get the message, oh, this property is not available at that time, right? That's up to the listing agent to change that.
Correct. So do
But
we get penalized in any way? Like when
no, so let me ask you the question. When you got the lead, you looked at a 12 and then did you accept it or just passed it to the next team member?
No, I accepted because I
Yeah,
could do 12:30. So I
got it.
accepted it. Then when I got the response back, which, made sense.
Yep.
I was kind of in a bit of a quandary because normally I would pass it to another team member, like even on my team. But I want to say it
You
was like
can't, once you accept it, right? Everybody in here, once you accept it, it's yours. So now
Yeah.
if that, for whatever reason, right, the listing agent says, hey, unfortunately, a homeowner can't leave the house, we're going on the repairs, whatever that is, and they cancel it, right? That consumer gets that message that it's been canceled, right? They don't know why, there's no notes, they're not connected through showing time. So now it's up to you to say, hey, that showing got canceled due to XYZ, right? Whatever the listing agent put in there. So once you take the lead, then you have to connect with them and realize and let them know that, hey, that property can't be seen any longer at 12 o'clock due to XYZ.
Right. Yeah, I did that. And for
Okay.
some reason, Carmel, like I don't think that I could cancel. Forgot what it was that it gave me the option to do because I guess it wasn't scheduled yet. So it wasn't allowing me to cancel. Like I was trying to put in notes and cancel, and I would put notes and then that cancel option
Where
wasn't
were you
available.
canceling on the app?
Yes.
Yeah, you look cancel on the app and showing time. Once it's canceled on showing time from the, let's say the listing agent, that consumer gets a cancellation. So that's connected through there.
Yeah, so eventually they got the showing declined and
Correct.
okay, right, no
Yep.
problem. Yeah, so I did communicate in the meantime when I got it, but just wanted to kind of alert and understand what
Yeah.
that looks like on our end.
Yep. So that's best practice, what you did, right? Once you accept it, it's yours. You just take it as an opportunity. You know, I always tell agents, this isn't a blind date, just show up and this is good. Well, they're told that they're, you know, the showing is on. What I would suggest is to communicate on that initial text through the app, right? What's happening is what we're seeing is when you text through your cell number, hey, this is so-and-so, we just confirmed for tomorrow at 2 p.m. That cell number that they're not familiar with, it's like, well, who's this individual? Even though you're saying, hey, this is so-and-so, communicate through the app because that phone number is consistent with the communication that they confirmed the appointment with a premier agent that we sent them the information of your profile.
Excellent.
And then when you meet them in person, right, use that as a best practice going forward. Hey, communicate through the app. This way it's consistent, and then take it offline, right? I always tell agents, if you have drip campaigns through your CRM, right, you should really, you know, have that follow up through your CRM. This way it's consistent with the communication of that CRM, communication through Zillow, through Zillow. And then when you eventually build a relationship with an individual, then introduce your cell number. This way they understand, hey, who's who? Because most of the time, you know what? They don't save your number with a name. So when they see that number, they don't realize who it is. You assume they do. So it's just the best practice to go that route. So thank you for that.
Carmelo,
Janet.
I have a question as well, please. It's Lisa.
Hey, Lisa.
Hello, hi Carmelo. So I got a Zillow lead. I met with the gentleman. I showed him a property. Everything went well. And then the next day, I got a real-time showing request for 1 p.m.
From the
but
same
from
individual?
the same individual. And I couldn't, we had already, I don't know why, but we already arranged to meet at 2, but they got a showing request for 1. And so I didn't know whether to accept it or not, but
Yeah,
then,
so just so when you get a lead, right, because it came through a regular connection, that's
yes.
the my agent feature taking effect, right? Meaning that you have, like Zillow on the back end, we make that lead exclusively to you for 30 days. So anytime they go back on Zillow and they're requesting tours, whichever way, or connect with a buyer's agent, we push them back to you because that my agent connection is still in effect.
But if I can't do that time, but I already
Well, if you,
met it,
yeah, if you can't do that time, right, you're already in communication with that individual. Just think about they requested through Zillow. If it can't do that time, right, it's your lead. Connect with that individual and said, hey, that lead came back to me because we're connected through Zillow for right now, blah, 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 and then have that conversation.
but so I accept it on the app?
Yeah, I mean, you should accept it, but if you can't do that time, it's, you know, that's a one-off where you have to talk to that individual. It's not someone new. Like if
No,
it was
yeah,
somebody new, then you could say no. In that situation, it's like, hey, this is Lisa. We just met yesterday, blah, 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 whatever. Let them know that, hey, I can't make that time. Can you make this time?
yeah, so we already have a showings booked for today at 2. We are showing him 4 properties, but on my app, it's still showing that I'm confirmed to show him a property at 1, which we're not meeting at 1, we're meeting at 2. So
So just make sure that in showing time for the listing agent, that it's not booked for 1 and that your consumer, since you had that conversation, it changed it to 2. He's showing up at 2, not showing up at 1. So just make sure that that's you're in tune with those times.
so when I go to edit tour on my app, it doesn't allow me to change the date or time. Unable to load available times. So do I just go to showing time
Showing
then
time,
instead?
correct. Yep. If you do it in showing time, it should update the app and it'll update, more importantly, the seller.
Okay. On showing time, actually, I don't have it in here, which is weird. I only have the ones that I confirmed with my client, which is 2 o'clock till 4, but nothing at 1. So what is showing on Zillow app is not the same as what's showing on showing time.
The 1 o'clock, you did confirm it when it came in?
I did because I didn't want to lose him since I already
Okay.
saw him, but
All right.
in the app it's showing.
Yeah, can you send me the email of the individual's name and I'll check with partner support on that one?
Yes, because on my app it's showing confirmed, but on my showing
On
time
showing
it's
time,
not there.
it's not showing. Okay.
So I'm a little confused on that one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just think of it this way, as long as you, the consumer, your lead and the listing agent are on the same page, that's what's important.
yes,
Then we can
we are.
update the app later on that. But send me the email address of that individual and the name, and this way I can check with partner support why 1 o'clock didn't go into the system.
Okay, all right,
Okay.
will do. Thank you.
You're welcome. These are good questions. Hopefully this is helping everybody else out that might have the same questions or best practices to go forward with the real-time tour.
Hi, the only thing that we're finding is when you get one of these and you select time, a lot of them, because of the areas that we're in, they've already done a highest and best, or they're already in a turn review, and you have to double check on what the Zillow app is currently doing. So what we do is, as soon as we've accepted something, we have to go on to showing time, check the status of the listing,
Yep.
and then reach back out to the seller. And it just seems to be doubling up the work that we do. Oh, and another thing that I find is once I've accepted something on my Zillow phone, I don't get an alert, an email from showing time like I would do if, you know, where it confirms. So the only thing that I have to, well, I check again every time, because some of these houses are combo boxes. So I get a, okay, we've gone and scheduled, we're going to reach out and schedule this appointment. It may take a little bit of time. And then it'll just come up saying confirmed, but I can't see the showing details of, you know, whether it's a combo box, whether it's a GSMLS. Normally when I do it myself, and I schedule an appointment without using this
Now,
app.
when you're saying all that information is what shows on showing time.
Well, no, if you go into showing time, you could see that you've logged something, but then you have to click on the details again to actually find out those details. Whereas normally when I do it myself, I get an email.
Yeah, so that's might
confirming.
be something with the settings. We could call partner support, like on the showing time side. I don't know what that backend looks like. I don't know what you guys see, right? I'm not
Because
privy
normally,
to-
yeah, I normally when I set up a showing time, I'll get it via on my cell phone, but I'll also get it on email. And the email, when you open it up, it will show the access details. And I'm not getting the access details when I use the, you know, the automated accept this appointment or don't.
Right, but that's on showing time side. Going, when you confirm the appointment, let's go back to this situation you stated that, hey, some of these, the market that you're in are under attorney review, under contract, less than finals are already due.
Yeah.
Right, that we can't change. That's the same as a standard connection. When it comes in, right, that individual doesn't know that. What do you usually do? Do you focus, hey, that property's not available. Do you have any other properties you want to see? Yeah, probably not the right thing to say.
Well,
Again,
no, but the customer believes that he set up an appointment with this
that's fine. But then that's why, as you accept it, right, I look at it this way, right? At the end of the day, it's an opportunity of someone that's confirming that they're not working with an agent and they're looking to buy within 6 months or less, right? So that's what you got to focus on if that property is not available. Same way. So I would confirm it, right? Because the appointment's set, and then go back and say, hey, by the way, the listing agent just canceled the appointment due to XYZ. Is under return to review. Best and finals were the other day. He didn't update, because those times that are available to the consumer, remember, are from showing time from that listing agent, right? So that got nothing to do with Zillow. Zillow's just pulling the information that you as listing agents put on showing time.
I understand all that. The issue that we've got is that it's doubling up our time that we are spending on leads when they come through. So if I've not got one of these, and you know, I always pull up the listing as I'm speaking to them or as I call them back. So I've got all the information in front of me. If I can see that it's in a turn review or highest and best is already gone, I now deflect and just say, oh, I just need to reach out to the seller, see whether this is still available or not. And I get the information like, when are you available? I will call him back and say, very sorry, but this, that, and the other.
Okay.
With the app, it doubles up what we have to do. It already confirms the appointment, and the customer thinks that, okay, it is available.
Okay.
It's not like, oh, we need to just check to make sure that time is available. They assume it's available. They assume that they're going, and they can get a bit a little bit pissy when you call them and you say, well, I've scheduled this appointment. I don't understand why the appointment was accepted, blah, and we do.
Yeah, but
we do get
Trudy,
around it.
I'll push back on that because for the reason, right? Again, it goes back to what that consumer sees and they assume that it's available because why? The listing agent has that available. It's got nothing to do with you. It's got nothing to do with Zillow. You're just explaining the situation, whether it's a live connection or a real-time tour. If you have 5 minutes to decide, hey, do I want to take it or not, right? Maybe if you pass it on, somebody else is willing to, hey, talk to that individual and nurture that lead a little more. Because I don't see the extra work being that much where, hey, that property's not available. And then you're going back to the individual, hey, the listing agent canceled due to XYZ, right? You still have that individual as an individual that you're looking to attain as a customer because they're not working with an agent and they're looking to buy in a pretty short period of time.
Yeah. But the thing is that we try to do is we try to not say that we are not the listing agent. Obviously we say, Zillow preferred agents, etc.
Yep.
But the customer, when they click on that link and select the time, they may be assuming that they are getting the appointment through the listing agent. So you can't then just turn around and say, oh.
So just so you know, Trudy, the real-time tour leads during that whole process of asking them what is their time frame if they're working with an agent, they are told 6 times in that whole process they are being connected to a premier buyer's agent. Buyer's agent is in there 6 times, right? So if the individual chooses to ignore that, right, one-offs, you're going to get those individuals that think that they're getting the listing agent. So real-time tours, I'm not getting that too much from other agents in the area. So yeah, through the connections, that used to be the case. But in that process, they are told they're being connected to a buyer's agent 6 times.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
think
Carmelo, I don't think it's that difficult. I've had scenarios where appointments were confirmed and then turns out that, they're no longer showing for various reasons, usually under contract. So I'll just call the client and we have a conversation. I'll tell them I have other things that are similar. And it's just a matter of, converting them as any other lead. So you just have to talk to them.
Yeah.
That's all.
So just so there's no right or wrong, right? You have to feel comfortable with the follow-up that you're doing, right? So I'm not here to say, hey, Trudy's doing it wrong, Mickey's doing it right. You almost have to have the opinion in my eyes that, hey, this is an opportunity. Forget about the inner workings of the back end, notifications, the showing time. I'm focusing on that individual. What is their time frame? They're not working with an agent, supposedly, right? I want to capture that individual. Because if they're not working with an agent, right, I have first dibs at this individual to capture them as a client, right? That other information in a market that we're in today, yeah, that's the market we're in. A lot of things are under attorney review. A lot of properties that are on Zillow sometimes, hey, that property is not available any longer. That's communication you need to have to that consumer and educate them, hey, this is what I can do for you. That's an offline situation. So yeah, Mickey, you feel comfortable doing that. You have success with that. Trudy, sees it as, hey, that's a little more work, but sometimes we got to find that that fine line in between of what works for you guys, right? You got to be comfortable with that. I'm not going to tell you, hey, do it this way and this is the only way, right? I just say focus on that individual. How do I retain or how do I get that individual to be my client?
I mean,
That's
for me, the
individual.
easiest explanation is to say, the market moves really fast. It was available. They just accepted an offer and decided not to show anymore.
That's it.
Because, things change so quickly. And I think most people know that it's a very crazy market and things do move very fast.
Yep. I agree. Anyone having success with these?
Well,
I mean, I have clients I'm working with. I don't have any deals closed yet, but I do have quite a few that
Yeah,
I'm
well,
still
listen,
working with.
remember, this started June 1st, right? So it's really a short term. So if you have people you're showing homes to, right, that's right now a success. If you're submitting offers, you're ahead of the game, right? Because these leads started coming on June 1st and we're only on, a month and a half. But I just wanted to share best practices. Try to use the app on that golden text, as we call it. You know, and Trudy, I wanted to go back to you. You have, when you get that property on real-time tours, remember, you have 5 minutes to say, hey, I can show this property, meaning I can fulfill one of the times or the time that that consumer is requesting, or pass it on to another team member. What I wouldn't do is don't accept any leads based on like, hey, they're asking for 1 o'clock, but I'm going to accept it and then I'm going to tell them, hey, I'm available at 2. Can they do 2?
Can you repeat that?
I wouldn't accept the real-time tour if they're requesting, let's say 1 o'clock, and you just accept it saying, hey, I want to capture this opportunity because it's on a good sized property. And then I'm going to call them and try to change it to my time of 2, 3 o'clock, whenever, or another day. Right? You want to, that consumer's coming in that, hey, when they're not put on hold, we're told, hey, we're going to connect you with a premier agent to tour that property at that time within 20 to 30 minutes. Right? So they're not getting instant gratification. So you have
So-
time to go through the cycle of the team, 5 minutes each. And then if you guys can't fulfill that appointment, we find another premier agent that's best as Zillow in that market and start the process with them.
So Carmelo, if one time slot comes up
Mm-hmm.
and you can't make that time slot and you reject it, I mean, are there other time slots that are like that
No,
are coming through
remember-
and showing time behind it?
No. So remember, that consumer is choosing, hey, this is when I'm available to see that property. Now,
Right.
when it gets to you, can you fulfill that time? If they select one time, that's the time you have to choose from. If you're not available,
Okay.
don't reject it. It just says pass it to another team member. It just goes down the line, and vice
Right.
versa for other
Right.
agents in your zip code.
Understood. Thanks.
Because think about it, if you say yes and then try to change the time, then it's like that's not a great experience for that individual through Zillow, where like, hey, I went to Zillow to, select a time. I selected 1. That's when I'm available. Why are you telling me that it's not available at 1?
Got
If
it.
it comes from the listing agent, that's different, right? Because now you can have that conversation. Hey, I'm available at 1, but this is what happened. The listing agent, best and finals, or they just went under contract or got an accepted offer and it's no longer available. They're no longer showing the home. Good.
Hey, Carmelo,
Yes, Robert.
has real-time tour replaced live connections? Because I haven't gotten one live connection since we started this real-time tour. I'm just curious.
No, so it's in, not replaced, but it's in lieu of, meaning that it's combined, right? So some of these leads now, if they fulfill the real-time tour qualification, meaning they're not working with an agent looking to buy within 6 months or less, it is a real-time tour. If they say, no, we're just looking to buy in 12 months, those fall as a standard connection. So yeah, it's a mix.
Okay, thank you.
Carmelo,
Yes. Hey, Janet.
again, just, and this is just an observation. Coming through, they're still not pre-qualified. And that's okay because, I had the conversation with them, but I am finding that it's still more of a bit, like these are kind of like a one-timers, like they're just kind of exploring right now and they want to see this. So this is a good option. They don't have to talk to anybody. They kind of get scheduled. They see the property. And is there any, I guess, in the future, and no, we don't do this as a state, but the possibility of just kind of reinforcing that pre-qual more so we get a better sense that they are serious buyers?
Yeah, we don't have that in the plans to ask, hey, are you pre-approved, right? We always find that that's something that agents would get ticked off about because you do have a lender, right? Individuals that come in, whether they're pre-approved or not, that's an opportunity for you to introduce them to your lender and build that relationship from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a question if they're open to the introduction, because I just find that some of these, it's even the pushback, like they don't want to get pre-qualified, but they want you to show. And, it's just becoming common.
Yeah, so think of it this way, right? So
No pre-qual, no show.
Yeah, at the end of the day, these are still internet leads, right? Whether it's Realtor, Zillow, Google Ads, whatever might be the case, right? So there's going to be the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? The real-time tours do convert at a high rate because they are a little more ready with those 2 additional questions. But yeah, you're going to get those individuals, right? So there's going to be those leads in there. This doesn't make it foolproof that, hey, it's someone that's, okay, ready to buy within 3 months, not working with an agent, definitely pre-approved. Oh, I can put in a cash offer, right? Now we're going down the funnel where once you start doing that, what happens? The lead flow gets lower and lower and lower, right? So instead of getting 100 leads a month, you might get 10 just because you want all of that. So I think it's more about, yeah, you're going to get those individuals. What is the opportunity there, right? That's probably a lead you're going to have to nurture for 6 months or more until they get pre-qualified or until they get serious about looking at a home. And that's where that drip campaign that we talk about, or that follow-up process, that's a lead that, hey, maybe every month you send a recommended home saying, hey, I know we're still not pre-approved, but I'm just sending you a property just so you know what the market looks like. Eventually that individual will come back to you if you're doing that, right? So there's different leads that'll convert different timeframes. And I think we sometimes get away, oh, okay, I'm just focusing on the leads that are ready to buy now, and you ignore all those other leads that eventually become a hot lead when they go back on Zillow, go back into your market, and we connect them with another premier agent down the road when they're more ready to buy.
No,
Right. So
absolutely. That's fair. I mean,
yeah,
and honestly, overall, for me, it's been a positive experience. I just find that as one less step that I need to do, because if I'm willing to do the showing, I'm
Mhm.
willing to do the showing, and now I don't have to go into showing time and do it. It's being done for me. So
yeah,
overall, and the question was just in general.
yeah. In general, yeah. Now,
The
if
response.
yeah, they don't have anything on the plate to do that. But yeah, going back to following up, I just find I just had a conversation last week with an agent that's, I mean, she's just following up on everything and she's having great success, but you also have to have the capacity in your day to do that, or be organized enough to say, hey, this is the list I'm hitting today, right? Here's the individuals that I'm showing homes to, right? What happens is when agents are not organized and they bring up their database of 100, 200 leads, it's 200 names with no rhyme or reason where to start or where to prioritize. Yeah, that's where the opportunities go through the cracks, right? You should have those individuals, like you said, hey, this person's not pre-approved, right? If you know they got to fix their financial situation and that's going to take 6 months, yeah, here you go. Here's my follow-up with this individual. I'm just going to stay in front of their face because they're going to see that, oh, Janet's here. Oh, here's Janet, right? Name recognition. When they're ready to go, they are going to reply back to you because, as I said earlier, none of these individuals from my 7 years of doing this, the consumer, you think that they save your number. You think that when you send them that e-card via text that, like, say, oh, well, you have my information when you're ready. They don't save any of those, right? So it's whomever's in their face at that particular time that gets the business.
Agreed. Squeaky wheel gets the oil.
That's right. Especially in this market, right? Because you'll notice that 6 months, 4 months goes by pretty quickly. And then you say, oh, I wish I kept in contact with that individual. That's probably ready to buy now. Because we see on our end that 40% of these leads, the live connections that come in, real-time tours, we don't have that data yet. They do transact within 18 months when that lead comes in. The question is it with you or somebody else usually? Because no one's following up on leads diligently for 6 months plus. Anyone else? Real-time tours? I think we're pretty good. All right, what I'll do now is here, I'm going to share my screen. Is anyone going or having success, or are they remembering to use the tags, specific home interest, re-engaged buyer again?
Can you review that?
Yep, I'm going to do that right now because I'm going to go through. So who's the host? Marnelli. Marnelli, can you turn me on so I can share my screen, please? Thank you, Marnelli. All right, so here. So remember, what you want to do is when you go to your contacts, and this is where you should manage your leads, right? And this is what I was just talking to Janet about, is how do I manage my lead through the statuses, right? What is my priority list? Priority list 1, showing homes. Priority list 2, met with customer, right? When you bring up this list, hey, I should be able to put a face to the name because we had a good conversation, scheduled a showing, that showing occurred. Now, was I a door opener? What is my follow-up process to make them a client by moving them into the active showing home phase? Appointment set, right? Those are those individuals that, hey, you scheduled a showing didn't occur. They texted you, emailed me, called you and said, hey, we got to reschedule, something came up, family situation, right? So as you status these, when you bring up these lists, instead of having 100 names, Showing homes is probably going to be 5 to 7, 5 to 10. Met with customer, same thing, right? This way, when you do a daily follow-up, a weekly follow-up, monthly, quarterly follow-up based on these statuses, you're more organized than just bringing up a list with no rhyme or reason. Now, to help you prioritize these tags on the upper right-hand corner, there's 2 tags. These other ones, ZHL is Zillow Home Loans in other parts of the nation. So specific home interest was the first one and re-engaged buyers the second. Don't click off both, or else it's going to look for leads that have both tags. So do 1 tag at a time. Specific home interest, apply filters. Specific home interest, remember, these are the individuals that are clicking on a specific property a minimum of 10 times or more in a 7-day period or less. And we do give you that information when you click on this hyperlink on the add note. So here's a lead that came in last July, right? David has it as met with customer, right? But now July 5th, clicked on 602 Margaret Court at least 10 times or more. Looks like these are rentals, I believe, or maybe not. When I see the K going down the line, right? This is a rejected lead. But what you want to do when you bring these up for yourself is like, hey, what are they clicking on? Because you're going to find leads that have nurture or new that are clicking on properties. And now you could say July 6th, this individual clicked on 424 Burlington Avenue, Bradley Beach, 413 Monmouth Avenue, Bradley Beach, right? 1.6, 1.2 mil. And even though this says nurture, right, you just want to stay consistent with them. Hey, I know we're still times away from you looking, but I just saw this property, right? There's that coincidence or that aha moment. What a coincidence. Whoever has this lead, Janet, is sending me a listing I just looked at.
Okay.
Even
Can you take us through how you got to that screen again? I'm on a similar screen here.
Yep. So go to your
But-
contacts tab
Yeah, right.
and then hit filters
Bill,
on the left, the filters button,
got it.
and it opens up all these fields,
Right.
right? So you can bring up lists based on the status of the lead with contact status. But what I'm doing is leave all statuses alone and focus on the tags on the upper right-hand corner. Drop that down
Yeah.
until you find specific home interest. You got that?
Yep.
Check that off and then hit apply filters
Where's apply filters?
on the left-hand side, the blue
Oh,
button.
I see. Yeah.
So anytime you do changes here, you apply filters, it'll bring the list depending on what you're checking off.
So now what happens when we've got somebody who we've shown a couple of homes that they were looking to purchase, and now everything that they're looking at is rentals?
Well, you got to confirm that, right? You got to have that conversation with that individual. Is it confirmed? Hey, are you looking for rent now? Did you stop
Yeah.
looking to buy? And then just have that conversation.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but the
Got it.
specific home interest, this tag specific home interest does not stay there forever. It only lasts there for 3 weeks unless what? Unless that individual clicks on another property a minimum of 10 times or more in a 7-day period. So remember, focusing on these properties just lets you be in tune with that individual. I've had agents in the Boston market that have revived 2 leads from 2019. If you see here, there's leads from 2020, 2022. Here's one from 2019 that has both tags, re-engaged buyer and specific home interest. And they were already on their second home. So if you see here, this individual, right, has moved on, West Virginia and Kentucky. So for you individually, I would open these up at least once to twice a week and find out, hey, are they clicking in properties in New Jersey? What is the price point? Let me try to reconnect with the individuals. Right, I'm just going down the line, just clicking away. Right, here's one that is clicking in Edison 750 and 699. And this is 2 days ago. My attempted contact from back in September of last year. Things change. That's why when I was saying earlier to Janet, these leads sometimes are a year away from converting. This individual might be ready to go because now he's clicking on certain properties over the last couple of days, only 2 days ago, a minimum of 10 times on 113 Turner Avenue. I don't know, is that property available at 750, 5 Mayling Court in Edison on June 11, on 699. So again, go through these at least once or twice a week. See if you see any new names, right? That's to me the low hanging fruit, priority on it, because these tags do go away. And then if I go back up top, again, go to filters. Let's go back to the tags drop down. And now I'm just gonna uncheck specific home interest and click on re-engage buyer. Again, apply filters in blue. The re-engage buyer is not as intuitive as specific home interest. It doesn't have specific homes that you could see and recommend. Re-engage buyer is basically someone that's been off of Zillow a minimum of 14 days or more and is now clicking on multiple properties on Zillow on a daily basis. So this goes back to you usually try to communicate with the individual by texting, calling, emailing. You say, oh, this person is unresponsive, they're ghosting me. But now maybe they haven't been on Zillow, or maybe real estate hasn't been top of mind for a month or 2 months for that individual. This tag will show you to do what? Connect or communicate with that individual when real estate is top of mind for them and a high probability of getting a response back. Again, you want to meet their urgency. So Zillow over time is going to add these tags with the AI system we have in place. We're just trying to give you more ammunition of who to follow up with, what timely basis, instead of just bringing a whole bunch of database with no rhyme or reason where to start on a follow-up process.
Carmela, I have a question.
Yep.
If I want to send a text, I'm in this screen, I'm looking at this guy who's now, now he's looking at every rental between here and Kalamazoo.
Yep.
So I tried calling him and I got his voicemail.
Yep.
Where is the text feature
I would do that on the app,
screen?
on your phone.
Oh, just, okay. So, because it's not, you can't do that from this screen on a PCs, but you can do it from your phone. Is that correct?
Yep.
All right, and it'll give me that option?
Yeah, on the when you're on the app, there's 3 dots at the bottom. It'll allow you to text the individual.
Yeah, got it.
And then you could communicate, hey, this is so-and-so. I don't know if you remember, we connected, 6 months ago. You were looking for properties at XYZ. I just saw this property, thought of you. You send it to them and it's like, oh, okay. I remember speaking to someone from Zillow 6 months ago. Like I said, they don't save your number, but and now you could just re-engage that individual. And there you go.
Okay.
At least the information when you have the specific home interest, or if you see what they're looking at, it's not that follow-up that say, hey, just checking in. Hey, are you still looking for homes and so? Right now you're coming with something in particular that gives them, wow, what a coincidence, that aha moment, right? So-and-so remembered exactly what I was looking for. They're more in tune with what I'm looking for instead of other agents that are just sending me everything under the sun with just listed, just sold type of properties.
Right. Got it. Thank you.
And I'll always finish because I know that you guys got another meeting. Let me uncheck that. Remember to always start your day with filters and then the My Agent drop down. Every morning, just go My Agent, hit active, apply filters. This is going to bring up the list based on who's looking at properties on Zillow recently, starting with today. And if you scroll down, there's a lot of leads because this is the whole team. It'll start saying yesterday, then you'll have July 14th, 13th, 14th, and 12th, so on and so forth. So these are the individuals that looked at properties today. This is when the lead originally came in. And now you have an idea, right? Christine has someone they're showing homes to, came in February. Now Christine can go in here and say, okay, is there any homes that they love that I've missed of sending as a recommended home from me to them? Right, here's one from July 14th. This is where you should really go every morning, because what'll happen over time is you're going to see new names pop up here on a daily basis. And that's to me, the new lead, right? The new opportunity, someone that hasn't looked in a while, but now all of a sudden here is actively looking. So these are all the leads that are clicking on properties this morning. Right, here's one from 2022 that has the My Agent connection with whoever has this lead, and is this morning, right? 9:32, still in Jersey, Hudson County, looks like, well, all over the place. And I'm looking for those hearts to focus on, if there is any. All right, I'm going to let you guys go because I know you have a meeting coming up. The donor said ended at 9:45, but I always stress, if you guys want to reach out to me individually and do this one-on-one to get more on best practices, I'm always open to do a one-on-one and go through this with your individual inbox. This way you
Thanks,
can become a
Carmela.
little more familiar. You're welcome.
Carmela, can you transfer the host to me?
Oh, yeah, hold on. Stop share. Back to you,
Thanks,
Marnelli.
all.
We're good? Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
Have a great day.